This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Holidays are over, holidays are behind us. I hope everybody had great holidays. Feels good to be back. Wow, do we have a lot to cover in this year, 2025? So let's just jump right in and let's get started. Uh, Wanted to begin with this graphic right here. I find myself, this is a graphic that I come back to when I'm trying to understand the truth and the science. And let's be clear, everybody. Okay, and by the way, all you new people, wow, we welcome you. And please like and subscribe. We're trying hard to uh, really get the new stuff out there and really get this podcast going well. But this right here, okay, look at those two graphics side by side. Okay, one is an image of a scientific article, and one is an image of the American Heart Association cardiovascular death graphics. Now, let's take a minute and look at this because I think this is one of the most important images in the process of understanding this opioid crisis. And that's what we do here in this podcast. Okay, if you're coming to this podcast, it means you have a reason. You want to understand what really happened in this opioid crisis. It may have been that you yourself were genetically damaged by the opioids. It may have been someone that you know or someone in your family, someone that you love. You may have lost loved ones in this opioid crisis, and you're here because you want to know the truth. And all we do here is cover science. Okay, if I give you my opinion, which I'm happy to give you my opinion, if I give you my opinion, I'll say, hey, that's my opinion. But if I'm just presenting the science, I'm going to say, hey, this is the science. So look at those two images. And by the way, hey, this is the science. Okay, you're looking right at it. That is a scientific article. It's I want you to pay attention to the date that's published also, March 16th, 2020. Okay, March 16th, 2020. Okay, and I want you to look at the date on that American Heart Association cardiovascular deaths. Okay, that's the data from 2019. So March 2020, 2019. Why am I making such a big deal out of that? Because COVID didn't begin until March 2020. So what you're looking at right here is all the data up to the moment of the beginning of COVID. That's why this matters. COVID confuses the public health experts. They get confused. Okay, they're in a semi-permanent state of confusion anyway. That's why they went into public health, is my opinion. And that's my opinion. There you go, folks. That's not a scientific fact. It's my opinion, but it's my opinion because I went to medical school with these people. Okay, so I'm entitled to my opinion. And I'm entitled to share it to you because, hey, it's my podcast. So there you go. All right. Again, look at those two graphics. Okay, that is a scientific medical journal article from March 2020 and a data from the American Heart Association from 2019. And what you'll see, look at that data from the American Heart Association. Look at it very closely. Okay, cardiovascular deaths had been plummeting. I mean, they had been falling decade after decade after decade after decade. Cardiovascular deaths were going down, down, down. Cardiologists were getting pretty good at what they do. Okay, the cardiologists were getting pretty good at what they do, and cardiovascular deaths were going down. Okay, and then all of a sudden, look at the tail end of that graph. All of a sudden, boom, there is an explosion in cardiovascular deaths, which kind of parallels the opioid crisis. That could be a hint, everybody. Okay, why would there suddenly be an explosion in cardiovascular deaths to coincide in parallel with the opioid crisis? Hello, intellectual curiosity, anybody? Okay, is there anybody at the CDC with any level of intellectual curiosity? Okay, because what you see there is you see cardiovascular deaths plummet, 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 plummet. Here we come into this, into the 2000s, and all of a sudden you see a growth in cardiovascular deaths. And this growth in cardiovascular deaths was so great that according to the article there, U.S. life expectancy stalled. Okay, U.S. life expectancy, which had been growing year over year over year, people were living longer and longer lives. All of a sudden, boom, U.S. life expectancy falls. Okay, they don't actually use the term fell or falls in the article. They say stalls. Okay, it kind of flattened out. Okay, certainly weren't making any progress. Okay, so right there, okay, those two articles, at least on the face of the articles, those two scientific pieces of information, they don't have anything to do with the opioid crisis. Okay, neither one says opioid crisis, and that would be the way most people would interpret that. We know better. We know better because, hey, we're on this podcast. Okay, we know that the opioids cause genetic damage. We know that the opioids cause particularly a type of genetic damage in a particular place in the DNA. That particular place in the DNA is called the promoter region. Promoter region. Look it up on Google, people. Promoter region of the OPRM1 gene. OPRM1. Opioid receptor mu1. Opioid receptor mu1 is what it stands for. Okay, and anytime you start going into the promoter region of a gene and knowing that methylation is nothing more than off switches, anytime you start going into the promoter region of a gene, the main location of the gene where processes are started and stopped. Okay, these are the on-off switches. This is the circuit breaker box. That's the term I was looking for. This is the circuit breaker box. You go to your circuit breaker and start turning off a bunch of stuff, your house isn't going to work normally. You go to the promoter region of an OPRM1 of the OPRM1 gene, start turning stuff off randomly, something's not going to work right. And what works right is what doesn't work right is now that opioid receptor doesn't work right. So there is a lot of information in that. Okay, please, everybody, take those two images. Okay, cut them and splice them. Okay, cut them out, cut and paste, not splice, don't splice anymore. Paste, cut and paste. Send it to every journalist you can. Send it to your congressional rep. Send it to your senator. Post it on every social media website or every social media location you can find, yours or somebody else's, and raise the question, hey, why would cardiovascular deaths suddenly explode late in the opioid crisis? What's going on here? Where's the CDC? Okay, now we know the answer. We'll go over this in more depth tomorrow. We know the answer, but for today, let's hold right there. Welcome back, everybody. We're really looking to grow this podcast this year. We're also looking to learn how to engage better with the company formerly known as Twitter, now known as X. So hopefully this week we'll get that up and running. But once again, my name is Dr. Doug Smith. The holidays are over. We are back to work. Please like us, subscribe to us, and we will be here every day. We try to keep these down to just a few minutes. 10, 12 minutes. Okay, y'all have made it very clear you like the shorter pieces of information, so we'll keep it clear. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Thank you.